Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of the GhettoRig podcast. Got episode 165 today. We'll go through introductions in a second because that's going to take a little longer than usual today. But first, we'll mention our official sponsors, the UFC Gym in Largo and Pinellas Park, and also Vitality Wellness Center. Thankful to those businesses and the guys who make that happen. Also make this happen. So thank you guys. So for those who don't know, my name is Eddie. In the middle, we've got Jay in the normals. Miguel over there. You guys should know Emily here, but we do have an unfamiliar face in the house, which her name is Francesca. Francesca's got a very, very interesting story. Hopefully we'll get into that today. But, introduce yourself and what are some basic things that make you?
As you say, my name is Francesca. I'm from Italy. I'm Italian, exactly from Rome. I just moved 6 years ago to San Diego.
Okay.
By myself, actually with my dog. Yeah. And yeah, I just wanted to change my life, learn the language better, and be closer to the ocean. I love San Diego. Is an amazing city. California is amazing. It's expensive, but it's a good
city.
That
actually just moved over here that came from San Diego as well.
Yeah.
She knows them.
Oh yeah.
Brian, Adam, Jess,
Gotcha.
everyone. Yeah.
Yes, and we get there.
Yeah.
That's how I met her.
Okay.
Through them.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah, because in fact, since I moved, I'm very into sports, and I used to be a kickboxing coach and a trainer, personal trainer. I work out every day. I love sports. I need out of sports and be in the gym. Is my therapy.
Yeah, that's the same thing I say about jiu-jitsu. Literally, because I work at the UFC gym, and that's literally the same thing I say every day when I'm talking to people about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and my first gym in San Diego was actually Victory Gym, and Victory Gym and fitness, and I immediately started to do kickboxing, Muay Thai. Actually, they have Muay Thai there. And then during the years, I got interested in doing jiu-jitsu also, for defend myself and to be like more complete. I love because I love to travel, so you gotta be aware of the dangers around.
Yeah.
So jiu-jitsu is also really good,
Especially for women.
Exactly, especially for women. So, and yeah, I spent 6 years in San Diego. I was studying. I graduated at MBA for business administration with a specialization in sport management, and in the same time I was working for a no-profit organization which is very popular in San Diego. It's called Anybody Can Youth Foundation, and they help kids and family, deserved family, to stay out of the street and all the bad stuff that it can happen to the kids after school. And they have an after school program. And they actually had an amazing boxing gym. So they have a library, they help kids with studying, do homework, whatever. And then if they do good, they have a good grade and they can do boxing.
Okay.
And I was teaching them and help them.
Interesting.
Yeah, I always love, I don't know, it seems like it's weird, but it was my dream to work for a non-profit organization. Somehow I always have these feelings to give back.
Kids, or is that kind of just how?
In general, just help it out. And I found out about this organization, and they have a boxing gym, so it was just perfect for me.
Okay, just kind of.
And I love it. I really love it. They had a ring. They organized like sparring
in San Diego.
In San Diego, yes, for 6 years.
Okay, so the whole time you've been out in San Diego, you've been going through that.
Yeah, I was studying and working with them.
Okay, and so you said you came over from Italy specifically just to try something new. It was really just kind of
just straight to San Diego. I was traveling already a little bit around, and I just decided that San Diego was really. I had this gut feeling. I felt home. I felt good. I felt it was good for me for start a new life, and I just moved. I did it.
Okay.
Next thing I realized something before you continue. Just bring down your microphone a little bit. That way it's not covering your face.
There you go.
There you go. Beautiful. We can see your beautiful face now.
So next thing I wanted to ask about is you have you make a lot of content, right, through YouTube and other platforms as well. If you don't mind bringing some of that up, Mickey, so anyone can see.
Hey guys, by the way, if you do us a huge favor, go ahead and like and subscribe to her stuff.
Yep.
That'll help us a lot, because it's not just some random person that came from Italy and and lived in San Francisco. I'm sure we're gonna get into it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna go into.
How
now,
she's influencing lives and stuff like that. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
So, you know, oh, this is crazy stuff about jiu-jitsu. If you know about jiu-jitsu, that's hilarious.
That's
two guys?
No, that's
no,
Gabby
that's
Garcia
Gabby
and Craig
Garcia.
Jones.
Wow.
Craig Jones. So she's that's a whole jiu-jitsu thing. That's hilarious. He forcefully did that. She chased him down. That's a whole other story. So your content creation, you know,
Yeah.
I wanna ask what inspired you to start creating the content and the kind of content that you create, because I took a look, and a lot of stuff is like guides and tips and certain things of the experiences that you're going through to help other people go through those same experiences.
Yeah, I have a lot of content.
Yeah.
I started years ago. Yeah, because I got into a kickboxing when I was in Rome. The first time I started when I was 15.
Okay.
And now I am 37 years old.
Got it.
And I start to compete, and so I start to make videos, and I like it. I love it always, like more and more and more. And when I start to be a coach, then I also start to make this content, because
Okay.
I wanted that became my job. And now with social media is easier, you know, also to try to capture the attention of people. We all are always on the social media, and
Yep.
I need clients. I need to you know, to improve my job, to make money, and with social media it's easier.
Yeah.
So, and I love it. Every time I go to the gym, I want to make a video, because I also love to try new things and learn new skills. Every time I achieve that goals, the new goals that I, you know, promised me to do it, then I want to show the other people, because I think everybody needs to not only to be in a shape for the body, but for
Right.
the mind. It's like being ashamed in your mind, because you never know what's going on in your life. And I had a pretty tough life. I had different accidents, and I, you know, competed a lot, and I had a surgery on my right knee because I broke my anterior ligaments, and I broke my nose. I was sparring with some of my friends. It was crazy. And if you don't work out, if you don't go to the gym and you challenge yourself, and you put yourself in a situation that if you can do it this now, but with consistency and passion, that you can achieve whatever you want in the gym, then you can project that in life.
Right.
I think that's the best motivation that you can give yourself. And so I started to do it more and more. And I thought it was very successful, and people were following me, and that gave me more motivation. I was like, oh, okay, they're texting me, they're complimenting me, I'm motivating them. So I have to do more. It's becoming a must, because I don't know. I always, you know, teaching is a kind of help people. My parents are both professors in the school. They teach, they help kids, and you know, it's like I think it's it's genetic. It's in my blood. I always, you know, want to help people.
Just doing it in
And
your own way.
yeah,
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. You guys remember Michael Sartain? He was on our podcast.
Yeah.
So she actually went to one of his bikini competitions
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
and ended up like winning and stuff like that. So let me ask you this. So how did you come to meet him? Is that because of the working out and things like that? That's how you
No, actually, I am very social person. I like to, I just like to learn in general, and especially from people, because each of us has a story to tell, and
Yeah.
you can. I'm not judging. I'm not like a kind of person that is like, no, I know everything, you know, and I can learn. There is always something to learn for everybody. So I randomly met a few years ago this DJ, and it's like in San Diego is a more small community. Everybody almost know everybody, and I like to go party, obviously. And I met this DJ, and he always posting on his social media. I make friends with him. Before my accident, which I will tell you in a little bit what happened, but before my accident, I already compete in modeling for different swimsuit companies.
Okay.
And he was there, and we'll always be in contact with him. And so I was watching on his stories, and he was posting about this content, and I was like, why not? I love that. And I never did a runway. It was a runway kind of competition, and I was like, I know it's gonna be hard, but I want to try. I want to challenge myself, and I want to show the world, and I give. No, I hope you kind of hope other people like me with a disability that everything is possible. If you have it in your mind, in your heart, and you really want to do it, don't be shy, don't be afraid, don't be scared. We only have one life, and just leave it, you know.
Don't be modest. Shit, that's like one of the biggest bikini competitions in the entire world that he runs. And you what? You ended up participating.
Yeah, I participated. We were about 35 or 40 girls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and ended up winning the first 10 girls to go to the final. Yeah, and it was pretty fun actually. It was really nice. A lot of people, they were like, "Oh, I love your mood and how you look, your personality and your strengths." Because I think you need to have balls to do that in front of all the people, because you're different in that moment, and I had a lot of fun, and I did it, and I want to do more.
Nice. So now we were talking. You said you're taking about a quick year off just from modeling. And what are your plans right now? What's going on right now?
Right now, when people invited me, because I have a pretty large photo book, and they invited me to do more, and I work for an university project, another swimsuit company. I always say yes, no matter what. I don't like to say no, and it's just it's something that I love, and if that permits me to travel, even better. So after my accident, I just decided to take a little bit off from work, like life from work, but like the kind of work that I was doing before, managing and teaching people, and I just want to have fun. So for me, modeling is kind of, and hobbies is fun, and I love to make also the photographer happy and try new things, because each of them, they have their own styles, and I'm open to try everything. So I'm just modeling, traveling the world. That's why I'm here in Florida, and my next step would be go to Canada and connect with people.
What's your favorite place you've been to so far?
My favorite place, I think, is today. I went to the south of St. Petersburg on the Pink Hotel, the Don Caesar's hotel, and all around the beach and the area, the houses, and the how it's organized. It's really nice. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's like, hey, what should I do? I was like, okay, these are the plans. This is what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Look at this.
So, it's total up to you. If you want to talk about it, that's fine. But you mentioned the accident. You want to go into it? You don't have to.
Yeah. No, absolutely, yes. 1 year ago.
Because I think this is the most one of the most
crucial,
inspirational parts about your life and where you are today. I think. It's my opinion. If I'm wrong, please let me know.
Yes, absolutely, because everything changed after the accident. So I was, as I mentioned before, working for this no-profit organization, and I was teaching. It was a Saturday to a special group of people, and I was with my motorcycle as always. I quit to have a car. I didn't want to have a car. Skip the traffic, be more like free, and I always loved motorcycle and follow the MotoGP. And finally in San Diego, I learned how to drive the motorcycle. I got my own.
Sorry. You not only MotoGP? What about Formula One?
No.
What?
I don't know. My dad always,
What?
I watch something with, sometimes with him, but
we
I
lost
don't know.
100 viewers just because you said no, I'm joking. Go ahead.
I prefer, MotoGP. and I was driving back home. It was just 2 p.m., in the afternoon. And I was in this street is called Market Street in San Diego. It's downtown San Diego, but it's not a flat street. It's like an up and down, a lot of bumps and dunes. And I was going down, and this lady had to stop. And it's a wider, giant street of 5 lanes, and she wants to cross the all lanes and go basically on the other side instead of just turning left or right. She came into me, so it was a T-bone accident. She didn't see me, obviously. I couldn't see her either.
Yeah.
It wasn't expected for me because I had no stop, no lights. I was just going. And yeah, it was a T-bone accident. I literally felt and remember everything. My left leg was between the motorcycle and the car, and I felt I broke the leg. And then I flew and roll on the street for 3 or 4 times. And obviously I screamed, and immediately a lot of people came around me to help me out. And fortunately, the ambulance came pretty quick, and they helped me with taking out the helmets and then my equipment, my jacket and everything. And my femur broke in 2 parts. So I had the leg, like I was hugging the leg, it was crazy. And I saw I have this quick image in my head. The foot was open, bleeding a lot. Everything was broken. And once I got at the hospital, they fixed my femur. I have a titanium rod in my leg and a bunch of screws. And then they were like, they showed me a picture, and this is your foot. You might need an amputation. Oh my God. This is huge. And I just, please give me a couple days at least to think about it. But the picture was like every bones of my ankle and toe, they were gone. Oh, there was nothing to save. Yeah. Like nothing. So I had to sign the permission, the agreements, and and 2 days later I got an amputation. Obviously it was hard. The first 2 nights was pretty hard and painful. And then a lot of MRI and x-rays. My back was damaged too. I have a collapsing thoracic spine, like the T3, 6, and 11. They were completely collapsing. I had so much pain on my chest. I couldn't move. And it was, I felt miserable at some point. Having the nurses always taking care of you, washing it. You can go in the bathroom is annoying. Yeah, it's bad.
So tell us a little bit what happened, because I know there was a little birdie told me that when the nurses came in and they said, "Hey, do you need help to go to the bathroom?" and you were like, "No," or something like that.
No, unfortunately, I couldn't. No, it's it's kind of bad to say, but you can't. I couldn't go to the bathroom, so I was doing everything in the bathroom. In the bed.
No. After when you were like kind of getting better and they're still trying to help you, and you were like,
"Oh no!" I was like, "No, I am going to the bathroom." So I was walking with a walker.
So we're like traditionally other people would say, "Yes, please help me," but you were like, "No, like."
No, after I think it was like my 4th day. After 4th day, I was done. I had to do it by myself.
So let me get this straight. You had an amputation of the leg, to titanium rod. Collapsed basically, like half of the spine was collapsed. Mm-hmm. And then on the 4th day you're like, you know what, fuck you doctors and nurses, I'm just gonna walk to the bathroom on my own, right?
No, it wasn't exactly like that. I had the 1 day of physiotherapy. This lady came because I asked for a physiotherapy. I couldn't say, like after 3-4 days stuck in a bed in the same position because I couldn't move. My back was hurting so much. Always stay on the same spot in the same, position all the time. It was killing me because I'm active. I'm an athlete. I had to do it, and I'm very independent, and I had to do it by myself. So I couldn't do it, and can I do physiotherapy? So then that allowed me to learn again and go to the bathroom by myself. And she came and she helped me just to sitting on the bed and move like side to side with my body. That's it. And the day after, I just stand up and I went to the bathroom. And when she came back, it was like, okay, do you want to learn how to go to the bathroom? We can do it together. I was like, I already did it.
Yeah. So, and then that's from that day, you're like, okay, well, this has happened. You know, obviously a big trauma here. And then you're like, what? How did that thing come in where you're like, this is it? Like, I need to keep push for it. Like, what made you decide that you need to keep, because a lot of people will take that and make it as a victim mentality and sit there and mop and cry about it. But you're the 180 degrees, complete opposite, where you're like, you know, in view of this adversity, you're like, you know what? F this. I'm just going to start.
Yeah,
How did that happen?
I think, as I said before, my fighters.
I see Rossi. They're talking about Rossi.
Ooh, Valentino Rossi is my favorite, obviously.
Sorry to break up. It's my squirrel brain, you know?
No, as a fighter, as an independent woman that traveled the world by herself, it just made it's like my brain can't stop. I could then figure myself in the bed crying. And also, you know what? Like, no wasting, because I also know other people, like you said, they're depressed, they don't want to do anything, and they waste maybe 5-10 years, and they figure it out after 10 years, oh, I should move, and I shouldn't waste my time, my life, you know, and for me it was like immediately, I figured that immediately, because I'm still alive, and it's nothing I can do about it. I can't go back. I can't fix that. This is my new life, and I have to be stronger for myself, because I believe that I can do everything as I did before. Even if I wasn't with my prosthetic leg yet, obviously. I had my first one after 3 months. And I started to work out. So since I stand up from the bed and went to the bathroom, I start to work out. I start to work, asking the nurses, I want to walk in the hospital, you know, go back and forth with the walker. I need to get stronger, because one day I need to walk again, and I don't want to feel pain anymore. It was so painful. And I start to do a video already when I was at the hospital, saying, hey, you guys, look at me. I am doing pistol squat on my... Yeah. I'm the only leg that I have, you know. I'm doing pistol squat. I am moving. I'm feeling better. I had to be positive. I was always smiling. And when the people were, my friends and family were at the hospital to visit me, actually, I had like visiting no stop. Mm-hmm. I couldn't sleep. I was there to rest, and I was so tired just because all this visiting, which was good, positive, but it was also like a lot. And some of them came like crying or be so sad for me. I was like, no. Don't be sad, because I'm smiling, I'm happy, and I need positive energy. I need positive people around me, because otherwise we're not going anywhere.
Right.
And I was giving them more, motivation, and then the opposite.
Yeah.
And for them was crazy.
So you told me this crazy story.
Yeah.
Literally, right after this whole thing happens, like within a couple of months, it's Halloween. And what did you decide to do during Halloween? Miggy, is it okay if he pulls out the picture?
Yeah, for sure.
Can you find that picture, Miggy?
Yeah.
So tell us the story while he's looking for the picture.
Away. Yeah, so I had the accident May 2023.
Oh, it was like right with COVID stuff going on still.
A couple of years later.
Yeah.
And in October, same year, I decided to participate. That's another picture.
Oh, is that the bike?
That was before the accident. That's my bike, yeah. I think you passed it. No, go back up, yeah. Go, up. And so, I had my best friends, which spent the night with me the first 2 nights. He is a furniture maker, there.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's my friends. He make furniture for houses and restaurants, and he has a wood shop. So, and he has all the equipment, right? So we decided to cast my leg, and he made that peg leg for me. And I was just like, why not? Why don't do, a pirate for Halloween? And so I did it. That's my costume.
Your current leg is 3D printed, right?
Yes,
yeah, pretty
you're
cool.
correct.
It's very interesting, the design.
It's very cool. Yeah, I love it. It's a uni leg.
Okay.
It's so different from the other's legs. The other's leg is the socket, and the foot itself, they're disconnected.
Got you.
So you have always the same socket, and you can change the foot according with whatever sport you want to do or activity you want to do. Mm-hmm.
No. So
it was pretty fun.
Peg leg, and then what happened with the dude that approached and tried to have a conversation with you?
I don't know. Sometimes people are weird, but yeah, that same party, because I participated here 3 different parties. That same party, I was sitting, just drinking and talking with the friends, and this guy asked me, "Hey, how can you put your foot inside there?" And I was, I didn't even talk. I didn't respond. I took the peg leg off and I showed him. I swear, he was so embarrassed. He was like, "Wow!" And I was like, "Dude,
imagine,
come on, that wasn't a right question."
Imagine you're like super drunk and it's like, "Holy crap!"
I mean, that's probably why he asked the question to begin with. Drunk, like, wait, how does that work?
Yeah, like when she told me that story, I was like, "Oh, I should be a perfect guest for our podcast." She's so funny about this, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, we talked a little bit about also, so now, since you had that, we talked a little bit about, I forget what the technical term is for the boomerang looking prosthesis. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm not sure if I know
the blade.
The
blade.
The boomerang is
Yeah, I saw a video like
it's not coming back like a boomerang though.
So that right there.
Is.
And when we were talking about it, you said that when you do decide to go running, like, to tell the story, I don't want to ruin it. Like, I want it from your own mouth. Yeah,
actually, this blade has a whole other story. That's not my personal blade. I start to run because I didn't have my blade yet. It's like, it's so frustrating with these insurances. It's like insane. Those stuff, these devices, they cost so much money. And so I got my first prosthetic leg in US, and then I moved back to Rome, and I got another leg, but not the blade. So obviously I made all amputee friends, and this friend of mine has a blade. So I was like, "Please, can I borrow your blade?" So his blade, and on that blade there is also 49. There is the logo, the MotoGP and everything.
Okay.
And and I start to modeling with that one. I start to run slowly because it's not easy at all at the beginning, and it's a little bit painful, but it's so powerful. It's insanely powerful, and it's cool. It's fun. I loved it. After the 3rd day, I start to run pretty good. The problem is the other leg. Because the other leg can't keep up. It's like it can't. And I have more pain on the other leg because the calf and the ankle, like, they're so sore, and because I basically push more with that foot, and the muscle, they're connected and the contract. On the other side with the blade, you have the blade that the bounce and push you forward, but you don't have I'm not engaging my calf, but basically I don't have a calf anymore, and it's so hard. So, but the more you use it, the better you will be. So
since you have experience with this, I don't remember what year there was an Olympic runner, so they were all running, and the guy did not, he didn't have both of his legs, and he was using
the blades, yeah.
And then he ends up racing, and he ends up winning this race. He wins the first place, and then Athletic Commission comes back and says, well, he had an unfair advantage. It's like, and everybody's like, "Hey, are you talking about the guy that, doesn't have his legs? You talking about that guy? Are we talking about the same person?" But the question here is, do you think there was some sort of advantage there because he had that prosthesis, or is it you can't really compare it?
Well, he's double amputee, so it's different than mine. And yeah, obviously you have more power.
Oh,
but,
you do have a little bit more power.
Yes, but I would say 50-50. So both of the side they have rights, because it's so hard to get there. It's so hard to run, because you basically are on your stump. You don't have a connection with the ground at all. You push on your stump, your leg, your bones inside the socket to run.
Ah, shit. So it's I gotcha.
Everything else through the blades is automatic. It's like is a consequences, something that, you know. But the only contact that you have is the stump into the socket.
Okay, so
and it's so much harder.
So even if he had advantage, that was like taken away, but like
you have to work way more than the regular person, way more. And pushing is not the same, because you don't have this feeling of the ground and the energy return from the ground. It's just the blade that is helping you, but it's not the same. You don't have a sensation anymore. And it's totally game changer. It's totally different. So obviously, like I said before, because I can tell the difference between my foot and the blade, I feel it is powerful, but you need to know how to use it, and it's a lot of work, and you need to manage a lot of, you have phantom pains, you probably have physical pain while you're running. Sometimes, even if I'm walking for a long time, like today and yesterday.
Sorry to interrupt you. What are the phantom pains again?
Yeah, so for some of our viewers, because they might not know what that is.
Yeah, phantom pains is basically your brain, because they cut your leg, right? So they cut the skin, they cut your bone, your muscles, and there are nerves everywhere. And so your brain thinks that the foot, your limb is still there. And then depends on the people. There are some of my friends after 5-10 years, they still have phantom pain. Depend also how you manage that, because there are several different things that you can do to control that. And so your brain thinks they're still there, because the nerves is the same, but there is no longer the connection to the foot. It's the signals coming back to you, but it goes there and then coming back to you. So when it goes there, you feel that you still have the foot.
So it's almost like a short circuit. Sometimes when you put it together, it'll work, but sometimes if it moves a little bit, you might get those pains.
Exactly. It's this and that. It's for me, for example, it's not a pain, but it's annoying. It's like something really annoying, because sometimes I feel cold, or I feel burning, a lot of hot, like my foot that is not there anymore.
So
I
it's
feel
like a mental pain.
Shit! It feels your foot.
It's a mental pain, but depends how I did some different kind of energy healing with a friends of mine, and I think it was like 3 or 4 months after my amputation, because I was exhausted. Sometimes it was all day long with these weird feelings. Something like a fluid moving on the bottom of the foot that is not there, and I was tired, really tired, and so I hit this my friends. She does energy in it and hypnosis, and I basically touched to my brain that the foot wasn't there anymore. So please stop. It's not there. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Yeah. So accept that the foot is not there anymore. I did it for a couple of times, and it was really deep and powerful. And I actually love that, and after that I feel good. Sometimes now I have kind of feelings coming back, but it's not that bad. I can control that, but it's just random. It's so random. You can't really do anything about it. But obviously, if you're busy, if you're doing your stuff, don't think in the night sometimes when you're on the bed. Then
what about like if you were like while you're walking, you were to like stub your toe on the prosthetic foot? Does your brain like
sometimes think
that
it hurts?
No, that's so funny. It's funny that you ask me that, because the first prosthetic leg that I had when I was in the gym, I immediately did a video of me dropping the kettlebell, like a heavy kettlebell on the foot. I was like, hey guys, I don't feel anything, Oh my gosh, it was so funny. And then when I'm in the car, you know what? Because it's my left leg, right? So you close the door of your car. Sometimes it's, you got stuck or whatever. You feel pain. You close the door on your, on your foot. And now I'm doing like this. I'm closing on purpose and I was and doing the video. It's like, oh, I can't feel anything. I'm good. So no, that one no. I don't no. If it's something hit my foot, no. But if I walk for a long time, and I'm tired and I feel the cramp on my ankle, I start to feel a cramp somehow. I don't know. Or when I do push-ups or I do like plank, then I have to hold some sort of position for a long time. I feel cramp, and I had to stop immediately because there is nothing I can stretch.
Yeah.
And it would be so painful, and the cramp is insane. Like it's a real cramp.
But even though your muscles are not cramping, it just feels.
I don't have muscles. I don't have a foot.
Yeah.
And
She's
I
saying,
feel
she'll feel like cramps in her ankle
Yeah.
when she's doing like planks and stuff.
It's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's crazy. Yeah.
That question reminds me of, you guys seen the study where they'll have them put their hand out and then they'll put something blocking their hand and put like a fake prosthetic hand. Right?
Oh
Almost
yeah,
like
yeah. I
fake.
saw that
And
video.
over time, that they'll do the same thing to the prosthetic, and it's not that out of nowhere they'll scare the person and go to hit the fake one, and they'll think it's theirs. That's why that question kind of makes sense, almost where like if you went to hit yourself on accident, your brain might still think that your limb is still there and freak out, but no, you don't have any reaction to it.
No,
like
it
going
makes
to hit it on accident or.
it makes perfectly sense if you do it like multiple repetition.
Right.
If it's just one time, no.
Okay, I got it.
Because
You gotta
the
convince
first,
it.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. It's always like teaching for the brain.
Got it.
Is always repetition,
Right.
seeing the same pattern for multiple times. You think it's real, right?
Right.
And then in fact, it was my the first times I was doing physiotherapy and I didn't have my prosthetic leg yet. There is this technique that the doctor teaches on the mirror. So you put the mirror in between your legs, and the reflection of your
leg, right.
actually other leg, you're like trying to to fake it.
Right.
You try to cheat the brain that you have the leg, you can move it, you can stretch it, you can move the toes.
Right.
It never worked for me because I'm not stupid. I'm not. My brain is not. No, I know. I know it's not there.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm watching it on the reflection on the mirror that means no, because I
I'm
couldn't.
not stupid.
Yeah, well, I couldn't. No, serious. It never works for me. For me, it works just the hypnosis worked pretty well.
So have you heard this? So one of the comments is they're testing MDMA and mushrooms to help amputee soldiers with phantom limb pain. And have you heard that before? Or
Yeah, I heard that, but I don't have like an answer for that because for me it's not working. When I smoke, it's not working for that. It may be because you're just relaxing, you are in your thought, you're doing, experience something else, and then you're not focused on the pain. That makes sense.
Okay.
But for me, it's, no,
work.
no, it's not that. Like smoking or weed or no, it doesn't change anything.
so we're talking about so you are definitely an immigrant, just like I'm an immigrant.
We're the
My
product.
family.
They're the-
So bad these words. I kind of like it.
What, the
Immigrant.
Oh, I love the word. I wear it with a badge. They're a product of immigrants. Miggy's an immigrant as well. He came to the United States when he was 15. I was 18, and they were
Younger than that. Right?
15? I came when I was 8.
8.
eight. Sorry, and they were basically like 2 years, right? It was something like that.
Well, when
my-
you came?
No. When you guys, when
No, my
you were-
sister was.
Oh, the
still
sister,
2
okay.
years
But
old,
anyway,
my
so-
parents had lived here for like 5 years already when they had me.
Yeah, we always talk about how the differences between United States and the places that we could have been born or were born, and what are some of the biggest differences that you see? What are the things that you like? What are the things that you dislike? Yeah.
There are few.
I could simplify the question.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Is there ever have you traveled to a place that's completely changed the way that you think?
I I don't think anybody in any place can change the thing, the way I think.
But like perception on the world,
Yeah.
right? For example,
Not yet, probably.
Not yet?
Not yet. Well, um, no. I've been in Colombia
okay.
for a week. Actually, I did Peru and then Colombia, but Peru is better. I've been in Colombia and I saw I saw so much poverty and people doing whatever and live literally in a very bad areas and situations. But then I was like, oh, okay, it's just them culture. It's just they're it's just like that for them. They might don't know anything else.
They don't know any better a lot of
yeah.
times. Yeah.
Okay, and every time I'm traveling, I'm not judging at all. As I said before, I like to learn, to see, to understand things. I try to adapt myself.
Right.
Especially for a woman, if you don't adapting and you're trying to be like them, like that, go into their culture, it's very dangerous. Like it's very dangerous. You need to be friendly. You need to be, to try to be like them and live like them. So yeah, probably in Colombia, I saw a huge difference. And they like that. You don't have to say them anything. They don't ask you please. They don't ask you anything from you. It's just they live like that, They don't want to be judged or anything. And I think they don't want to you go there and show that you might have money or you're better than them or whatever.
part of
No,
Colombia
just
did you
like
go?
what?
What part of Colombia did you go to?
I've been in Bogota
Okay.
and north. On the
Barranquilla.
Caribbean, I did Cartagena. Barranquilla I think is the worst. And Santa Marta. Santa Marta was really nice, a little town on the ocean, But Cartagena and Barranquilla they're
Yeah.
very poor.
I have a friend from Santa Marta. She said the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So with traveling to all the places, and seeing the things, because United States culture is one way, right? There's some good parts to it and there are some bad parts to it. Italian culture is another way. There's some good parts to it and there's some bad parts to it. If you were to like take the best parts of each country and create your own little country, what would that be?
Well, first of all, the food in US is not good at all.
Oh, yeah,
I
I
come
agree
from
with that.
Italy, and from Rome, and the coffee, the food, the quality, and the water is a huge difference. So I will say that first. And the way how we have relationships with people is very different. And I don't want to say that we are better. No, again, the culture is different. And so I literally I saw a huge difference, and I'm not feeling comfortable in that anymore in the US. It took me like 6 years to understand that, but now I'm like over it. Like relationships in US is really difficult to have any kind of relationships. Like friendship is very, very difficult. And I travel all in a lot of different states, not only California. So I can, tell that it's not only California. California probably is worse. But yeah, relationship is very different. And the way how in California they live is kind of weird. You have job 9 to 5, which is already different from Italy. We have 8 to whatever. Like people, they work even 12 hours, 13 hours. You don't have like a specific time.
Do you have? But in Italy, you also have that break in between, right? Sometimes.
Yeah, you have like an hour for lunch.
Mhm.
You have an hour for lunch
That-
if you have a good job.
Yeah.
Sometimes 30
Same
minutes.
thing. Something here. Most jobs are 30 minutes here. Some are an hour.
But you guys have 9-5.
Not necessarily.
Basically.
Well, that's like an office job, really.
Yeah, if you're not like an owner, independent, yeah.
Well, I mean, but even then, like for example, you work retail, you have to work retail hours. That all depends working weekends and working night times too.
But it's 8 hours, more or less, 7, 8
Yeah, so
hours.
most places, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so the work week is work. You're right. So the work week is 40 hours. So if you take 5 days, 8 hours
The
apart,
reason
gives you
is
the 40.
they legally have to pay you overtime if you work more than 8 hours in a day, or if you work more than 40 hours in the week, right? So they legally have to pay you overtime with certain jobs, right? There's certain things like, for example, firefighters, people, nurses, things like that. They pull 12-hour shifts, right? And that I don't think that applies to them, right?
No,
So
no. So the overtime comes in. Anything over 40 hours, they will pay you overtime. And a lot of
And they
owners
don't
are like,
want to?
they don't want to because
Okay.
it's not only them paying the extra money. I think it's like a double-edged sword. It's not only they're paying you the extra money. Now you have to pay extra taxes, and whatever amount in taxes you pay, the owner pays the same amount. So now they're ending up paying like not only 1 hour and a half, but they're paying like 2.5 hours or 3 hours.
move the mic closer to me.
And I bet the insurance will change also because if something happens
Yes.
in the extra hours, they have to be covered, right?
Correct. Yeah, the insurance
Yeah.
will charge more and so on and so forth.
And
But-
so this, yeah.
But as far as the families and friends go, like the building of the relationship, what do you think is which I do agree with you. In the United States, it's extremely difficult to build relationships. I've been lucky enough where my brother married into a family that's very closed and tight knit. You know, there's 150 people in this area. So literally, I could probably go entire year and hanging out with one of the people out of the family, and I would probably hang out with the same person again 4 months later, right? Like that's basically what it comes down to, right? So I've been lucky with that. So every Friday we'll get together and have fun and do this. But coming from someone like you that doesn't necessarily have the entire family in there, and what did you find that is different and you don't necessarily agree or like? Not that
Well,
agree,
for-
but like.
Yeah, well, for me, at first was very difficult to have a friend because my feeling is like you guys here in US has your own circle, maybe from high school, from college, old friends. So they don't really let you in, especially if you are from another country. And then after that, if you do make a friendship, a friend, or whatever, is you don't keep your word. If you got an appointment, a meeting, let's do this, let's do that. Okay, Tuesday at 4 p.m. and you don't show up, you don't text, you don't say anything, or I don't know, you ghost people. I don't know why, but it's very difficult to try to interact with that way because probably I need to confirm. But why do I? Well, in my culture, I'm keeping my word, especially because we are friends. So what's wrong with that, right? I telling you Tuesday we're going to have a happy hour at 7 p.m. That's it. I don't have to confirm that. I will text you or call you if there is something that happened to me and I can't make it.
Right.
Then yes, of course I'm telling you. But here they don't even do that.
Yeah.
And it's so hard. Like it's so hard, especially with as a girl with guys having relationships, try to go out. The last things was like they invited me. I met this guy at the gym. He invited me. He asked me the number and then disappeared. It's like so weird. Like I was working out. You bother me. You ask me for a number. Well, even I don't understand why is that. Even if it's something happened, just text me.
Right.
Why you guys have afraid? You like are shy? I don't know.
I will say that I think that I definitely agree with you as well, right? Because I come from foreigners' family, so I understand being like how we are outside of this country, and it's very similar, right? I would assume. But I think there's also a difference between Americans within the city life and like the country people, right? Because they have a lot smaller towns and
Communities,
the community is a lot more tight knit, right? It is really like the person that you grew up with in kindergarten is the same person you're talking to today, like as a 20-something-year-old, So that all depends, right? And you're definitely right. A lot of times, we're your foreigners kind of thing. So a lot of times when immigrants come over here, they end up just hanging out with the other immigrants that came from their same country,
Yeah.
right? Like the Italians are going to stay with the Italians and the Dominicans with the Dominicans and kind of thing, or not necessarily only with their people, but with other immigrants too, kind of versus with the Americans.
I never wanted to do that. And I know, yeah, you're totally right. I have a lot of Brazilian friends. They hanging out only with Brazilians,
Right.
because we don't feel the same with
Yeah.
American.
Well, so I can try to explain this a little bit. Like in evolutionary psychology, explain this, and this is a very interesting topic. But a lot of people will use this to justify hate, right, for skin color specifically, right, which I don't agree with. Now, evolutionarily, we used to be tribal individuals, right? So if I'm within my tribe, if there was a person that wasn't within the tribe were coming over, that was already bad. Like you didn't know what's going on. So it's either they're there to steal, kill, cheat, and take your women, right? Basically. So we've developed this idea of an evolution is 300,000 years. The agriculture revolution happened what 11,000 years ago, and we haven't had a chance. We haven't had long enough time with generations to change our opinions about new people. So I think this is what's happening when you're coming in from United States, from foreign country into United States, and you're going in and you have an accent, you look different, your ideas are different, you dress different. They're immediately like, even though they want to be open to you, but they're still kind of like guarded. That's why what ends up happening, I think that's why us foreigners, we end up being with our own kind, and then finding other foreigners, not necessarily from our own country. Because when we went to college and all of our friends were Hispanic, there were no Lithuanian people there. And the only way we met the only two Lithuanian guys that were in our school was through our Hispanic friends.
I think that's gone to a whole nother extreme now.
It has been. It has been gone to
And
extreme,
when
yes.
I mean a whole nother extreme, it doesn't matter what you even look like. It's just almost like that's not a recognizable face. Like I don't want nothing.
I
to do
don't
with
want
you.
nothing to do with you, yeah.
Right?
And
You're
I think
not part of my
COVID,
friend group already. I'm.
Yeah,
You can stay. You can stay where you came from.
I think COVID had a lot to
Regardless
do
if
with
you're
that.
American or not, to another American. That's how it's been, right? They just everyone's staying in their clique and rejecting anyone else that's not within it.
Yeah, and then it's not only that. Even though if you're within the group and you'll say some controversial idea that somebody or the group doesn't agree with, now you become the pariah. Now you're out of the group. Like they'll forget the history you might have had, but they don't understand.
I was about to say, I feel like a lot of that has to do with certain views on whether it be political or certain things like that happens within friend groups too. Is they let that get between their friendship that they had before they even started to discover those ideas, right? Which I feel like I have a lot of friends that I don't agree with a lot of the things they have to say about the world and this and that, but they're still my friends. We just don't agree like that. But that really has nothing to do with being you're my friend because none of us are
just avoid the
politicians. We're not
topic.
really doing anything about it. Right? It has nothing to do with our friendship. Okay, we don't talk about it. Simple as that.
Well,
Like,
I don't think it's about just avoiding the topic. You don't necessarily need to avoid the topic. You can talk about it. You don't necessarily need to agree about it, but
Just
doesn't
respect
mean
each other.
just
Right.
respect their opinion, right? It is what it is. They believe it this way, and like constantly trying to prove each other. And I'm guilty of this. I'll try to prove to somebody that my opinion is right, right? But like a lot of times, I need to stop and pull back and say, okay, well, that's just how they think. Maybe that's their thing, and it's.
Yeah, but American, and sorry if I say that, they're very is a population that are very judgmental. There was not racism against black people, or all the kind of things that happen in U.S. And so I think they do it with almost everybody.
Yeah,
It's difficult to have an open, free opinion and not being judged.
well, a lot of times I think
robotic, by the way. I checked on YouTube.
What's up?
It does sound robotic, by the way. I checked it on YouTube. See if you can see what it is. But
So I think what also happens is, hey guys, we're trying to figure out this volume issue, but we're not gonna stop. We're just gonna continue going. So with United States, so people that usually come here, it's usually people. I hate to use this, because that's not necessarily true, right? You had to think a little bit differently. You had to think outside of the box to decide to leave your country and come to the United States. And to do that, whether it was your parents or yourself, you had to be resourceful enough to come here and be here. And I think what happens a lot of times when you are speaking with locals, you're speaking with a general population, because general population is not our friend circle, right? Like you've been in a martial arts, everybody's fit, good looking, I've been in my own, office environments in martial arts. Everybody's kind of fit, good looking, wearing suits and ties, intelligent. But average American is when you go to the airport and you take your headphones off and you take your glasses off and you start looking around. That's an average American. And majority of average Americans might not necessarily be on the same level as you. So a lot of times you'll say things and to them that sounds alien, that sounds crazy because they never really thought about it. They never really
It's
had to
okay.
deal with it.
Sometimes happen the opposite, vice versa as well.
Yes.
Sometimes when they talk about something, or
Yeah,
they-
like-
or the way how they talk, like because the language is different,
Yeah.
and how you want to have like you program the sentences, or you know it's different, and sometimes like.
Like people made fun of me because I didn't know who was Charlie Brown. Like I never knew Charlie Brown until like recently.
What?
Yeah, I never knew Charlie Brown, but it is what it is, right? People made fun of me, and then I was like, all right, let me figure out what Charlie Brown is. Now that I see Charlie Brown, okay, yeah, it is funny, like to make fun of. But anyway,
But there is also a good,
Yes,
in
there is
US,
good
there
as
is
well.
also good. I'm talking always all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
There is also
now that we got the bad out of the way,
there is also a good. For example, in US, when you walk by yourself and you have people coming closer to you, walking, the strangers, they all say, "Hi, how are you?" We don't have that. Like in Rome, it's for me it's so funny. It's like it's normal here, but for me, like we just walking on the same street. I don't know why say hi, how are you, but it's just like something that
so was
is
this
common. to do it.
for me it was an issue when I used to work in restaurants. For the first couple of years working, people would say, you need to smile more, you need to smile more. And I've told this story many times. And I would stop and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Did you tell a joke that I didn't understand? Well, like, was I supposed to laugh? Please explain it to me. And they're like, no, you just need to smile to be nice. And I'm like, I wouldn't understand. Like, it took me many, many years to get to the point where I'm actually like smiling now. And I mean it. Before I had to like fake it. Now I actually smile. Now, did you have this issue? Because I don't know how people exactly are in Rome necessarily. Do you have this issue of like everyone is always like smiling at you? Or not really?
Yeah, no, it's totally true. They always asking you, hi, how are you, with the smile. They smile all the time. But what I understood is not because they really want to know you or ask you how are you doing in that moment. It's just cultural. They do that. Like instead of just say hi or whatever, they also add how are you. We don't do that in Italy, because if we walking and I don't know you and you say hi, how are you, it's in my mind and it's just like what's going on? I don't know you. Why you ask me how I am? Like, do we have to start a conversation? Do you really want to know what I'm going through now? Because it's very weird.
That's alright.
And I mean,
And-
here, even if they don't say like hi, how are you? I think what he was saying with the smiling is like they at least smile, like acknowledge with like a, like as you're walking by them.
I think it's a good. I mean, for me, I think it's a good thing. Instead of walking down and be like with a sad face
Yeah.
and serious, you just walking on the same street and you smile and it made your day. Sometimes made my day. Why not?
That is funny, actually. Now that you say that, that's something that you don't see everywhere that we do have in America in certain parts, right? Because you go to New York City, it's not like that, right? For
Yeah,
example.
it's a big city. Yeah.
Or Atlanta, that's not like that. But for example, places like here, it's definitely like that, especially with the amount of tourists and how the Sunshine State is and how friendly we are here, and the southerner kind of mentality that has adopted into Florida a little bit there.
I call the Florida the garbage can of United States because you have everyone, literally everyone from everywhere is in Florida. You can find somebody from North Dakota all the way to California to New York, down to DC, back down to Alabama. Everybody is just in Florida, right?
Yeah,
and you
'cause
get
the
this.
weather is perfect.
You get the best and you get the worst, right?
Well, everywhere there is better, good and bad. I
Right.
think.
Yeah. So between Italy and here, you mentioned the food is being terrible. Have you found anywhere that you can? Okay. Have you found anywhere that you can buy pasta and cook it in your own house and it's gonna be kind of okay?
Well, if you know how to cook, you can cook everything, obviously. But if you see, Barilla, right? The brand Barilla, the pasta.
Barilla, okay.
If you
Mickey,
look,
can you pull that up?
if you look on the ingredients on the Barilla pasta that you guys have here, there are a bunch of pasta is water and flours. That's it. There is a bunch of added ingredients, which I don't understand why. If you go to in Italy, you have the same brand, same
Yeah.
pasta. There is not two ingredients.
Right.
Why is that? Like, that's the main thing. And oh, here we go. And then the water that they use here, the water is different.
Yeah,
And then it makes a huge difference in cooking, in washing your vegetables, in making a coffee. The taste comes differently with the water. If you're using the tap water, changes everything.
That definitely also depends on where you're at in the United States as well.
I think so.
Some places have better quality than others, for sure.
Yeah, Wisconsin, for example, when I was in Wisconsin, their bread tasted much better. Their meat tasted much better. I have this crazy idea. I don't know if this is true. I think it's because of the water that gets into the soil, and these plants grow with that water, and just the water
And they're
makes
washed with the same.
yeah, they're washed with it, and then changes the flavor. But I haven't been able to find pasta here where I can eat and I don't have like gastric issues. Like they give me like no matter what pasta it is, it could be imported directly from Italy.
If you go to the restaurant, yeah, that's because they made it in a different way. It's not the pasta itself; it's the sauce that you use, the ingredient in the pasta that you use. They might not use the olive oil, which we always have it. And I get surprised today. I was at the restaurant and asked for the olive oil, and they had it. I mean, at least in California, they don't have they have a ranch, they have this
Wait,
and
California
that.
is known
So
for bringing
what?
olive oil. Like this is one of their biggest imports, no? They're
I
one
don't-
of that's
Never
crazy.
had olive oil at the restaurant in California. Never. Like you ask it, they don't have it. I don't. It's insane to me. I don't know because it costs money. It's more expensive though.
Right. Why'd you pick San Diego when you came to the U.S.?
Because I was traveling and when I stopped in San Diego, I just felt it. Like I was like really
Yeah,
an
just a gut
emotional
feeling,
feeling.
yeah.
Yeah, a gut feelings, emotional feeling was really strong. It was like, wow, that's beautiful. That's nice. I have a bay. I can go hike. There is downtown. There is a Coronado Island, and there is this and that. And yeah, I love it. I love it. And it's small because at first I was wanting to move in Los Angeles, but then when I land in Los Angeles, spend a couple days.
Yeah, it's a
Oh
nightmare.
my God, that's not like in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nightmare, yeah.
In the movie, they fake it. They just,
Yeah.
go on the nice places.
Yeah.
Not all the homeless and the traffic. And
This book is called Outliers, and it talks about this village in Italy, how people live a very, very long life. And Italy is known for this, right? Like some people live to be like
yeah,
100
it's a
plus
small town.
yeah, 100 plus years old. What do you think makes them live that long? Why do they live that long where the rest of the world is still trying to figure out how do we cross the 72-year barrier?
That's my personal opinion.
Uh-huh.
Is the wealthy style of life that they have. This happened in the small town. It doesn't really happen in the big city because there is a lot of stress and the traffic,
exactly what I thought you
a
were
lot of
gonna say.
anxiety, and people they can't keep up like paying the bills and they have to work so much. In the small town, it's more peaceful. Everybody knows everybody. You help each other, and most of that they have a land and they make their own things.
Oh, so they live off the land.
Yeah, they have a food, they make their own food, no pesticides, they have their own farm or whatever. And again, it's a small town. They're always at the same community. They're always there. The hair quality is better. Some of them, they're up on the mountain. There's these castles, and it's amazing. It's beautiful, and they don't have this crazy, chaotic, always something to do, go life. It's more relaxing, and they respect the time. They don't go party. They don't stay on the social media. In fact, the most of the small town that you go in Italy, they're all old people, like
Right.
a lot of old people. And that's
No,
it.
is this
And they
true?
say like strong family value, which is also more important, and is a huge difference between US and Italy. Strong family value. Like we don't get the divorce so easy like here.
So talk about that a little bit more, because I want to talk about that divorce part, and also about how I've heard, I don't know if this is true, I heard that children don't really leave parents' houses until they're like older, right?
Yeah.
And we're here, we have this idea of like, okay, you're 18, go. Like kind of figure out on your own, which I think is a crazy idea. Why would you leave? Because at 18-year-olds, you don't have the experience or knowledge of the world where now
That's how you build your experience.
yeah, but you
Do
know
it by yourself.
you live by yourself, but then you need to worry about the bills and things like that. So it's very hard. You never end up getting ahead because you always just making enough, just making enough. It's never you're never able to get ahead, right?
From what I learned living these 6 years in US, I think is especially I talk about California because obviously I was
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Okay,
Right.
it's very expensive, and I think to have a family is very expensive. So it seems like they're waiting. They're turning 18 to kick them out, so they don't have to spend money for them.
Well, that's definitely the
It's
case.
bad.
sometimes,
It's
yeah.
bad to say. It's
Sometimes, yes, for sure.
some of them I think some of the kids, the youth, they just want to leave at some point,
Yes.
and they want to make their
that
own.
happens as well.
And some of them, they have not really good families, and they just want to leave.
Right.
No, that's understandable. Yeah.
But for us, again, we have a strong values. Rome has a Vatican City, so churches, and we are mostly Catholic, so these strong values are into the family, and we share like for generations. So we try to stay together, and there is a support from your parents. They really want to help you to grow, like especially with education. Like for my parents, well, they were professors, so it was a very hard
kinda like
childhood for
given.
me. That's why I'm kind of crazy in doing going around the world by myself to be a fighter. But despite of that, for them, even for my grandparents, the priority was the study. You need to acknowledge this and that. You need to have knowledge, because if you don't have knowledge, if you don't learn history, whatever, language, anything, people can take advantage of you, and it's so hard then go in that world, And so for them was very, very important. I couldn't never work when I was studying. No. You had to study, you had to focus, because what happened is if you also start to work, your day is
That's
the
what I'm
same
saying.
hours of everybody. You're
don't have
doing
time, yeah.
both of the things bad.
Yes.
You have to and maybe you're wasting time. You can't pass the exams, and then you skipping the school, whatever, and it takes longer to graduate, or to go to college and everything else. So focus on studying, finish it, and then go to work. And choose what you love and what you're capable of to do. Not whatever, do waitress or cleaning the house and dog sitting just because you need the money. It's not that.
Do you think that's the reason, like the strong family values? Because in the United States, our divorce rate is about 50%, right?
Maybe more.
But well, it's 50%. So the way it's really broken down, it's not necessarily 50% overall, right? But the way they look at it is, I think the first marriage is, I think, somewhere in the 30s, and then the second marriage and third marriage, they go
'Cause
higher,
it starts
and
to
then
contribute to the people who've married 4 to 5 times.
yeah,
That throws
the more
off
you
the
marry,
stat a
yeah,
lot.
that throws off the stat. But average is 50%, right? Like now, but you say that in Italy doesn't exist. Why do you think that? Like, what do you think makes the difference between that
What
and
is the
this?
average divorce rate in Italy?
Again, I think, well, the new generation now has been different, but with my parents, my generation, my brother generation, we been teach for the whole life, with and we grow up with the value. Like it's like talking about 20 years ago, no, maybe more. Let's do 2 generations ago. We were playing soccer with your friends on the
Outside, yeah.
streets. You were playing,
Going
with
out
your
there.
body and your friends in the same times, interacting, instead of now being on the computer all day or on the social media all day. Even like we are playing, yeah, you are in the room, these other guys and your friends is another room on his house, and we're playing video games. It's not the same, and this changed all the values. Because for me, if I have to have kids, I will never teach that. I would rather tell them, just go play, do a sport, do an activity, be active, do this and that, interact with people. I don't even like meeting up. I'm using meeting up. I'm refused to do that. And maybe I'm like old mentality on that. I can adapt. I can, be into it, even if I'm living 2024, and I shouldn't probably, but I can't do that.
I think it's one of those things that's good in moderation, right? Because
Yeah.
Using the internet, social media, things like that can make you more worldly, right? And then playing games, like that's something that in moderation is not going to be a negative thing.
Yeah, but the new generation, they don't know that, because their parents, they don't teach them.
Yeah.
So the value have been taught from parents and at the school. But right now it's not happening. So you don't know what's good and bad anymore.
So I think that's super important, because what usually happens, you get married, and then if you do get a divorce, most likely during that time you had children by now, and now you're raising children, and a lot of times, I can't prove this, but this is my opinion, right? I think that parents, either one, will use the children as a weapon against the other one because they're hurt, right? Like they're hurt.
I hope not.
Yeah, but they'll say, "Oh, well, what did you eat? Let's say with mommy. Well, we ate X, right?" The dad would be like, "Oh, that's all you ate. Come on, let's go. I'll buy you this." Like, and the same thing in the other way, right? Just because they're feeling salty about the whole situation, so they'll use children as weapons against the parent, right? So I think the biggest problem with divorce is divorce is fine. It's a divorce. It didn't work out between two of you. That's fine. But then the kids are the ones that are suffering, right? But then also there's the question, okay, well, until what point you say, well, I get the kid's gonna suffer, but I no longer can do this.
Right, because I've had growing up friends that had parents that stayed together just because they weren't 18 yet, kind of thing, right? Like once they turned 18 or were becoming adults, they're like, okay, then we'll separate, but for now, let's stay together just for the kid. I've seen that, and it's not necessarily a healthy thing either, right? So
yeah, because it's
but sometimes if your kids are very very young, it's difficult to talk to them about that.
Right.
To explain it, and it is difficult for them to understand. They think they're the victim, they think there's something wrong with them, and the separation happened because of them, but it's not that. And also I would say, see even if the parents are good, but these kids is being jumped from this 1 week with my mom, 1 week with my dad, boom, 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 every week like that. And then one activity with my dad, a school with my mom.
And then
always
parents
like
get married. Now you have other.
Yeah, they're being flipped around like that. It's not
I mean,
good at all.
all of that is difficult, of course, but I also think like when the situations like Eddie said that the parents were waiting until they were old enough to understand. If they were to wait that long, I almost feel like that's negative as well, because by the time that you're like in middle school, you're a teenager, you start to understand things like just by watching. So if your parents have been wanting a divorce since you were young, you would already see either your mom or your dad suffering and just the negativity between their relationship, and I feel like that might even affect you more than your parents separating.
Yeah, because they were like, you guys are lying me for all this time.
Not only that, but it's just like I feel like it's hard on you, like seeing your parents arguing and seeing them upset, and seeing the relationship affect them also affects you.
You're gonna pick up very quickly that they're not happy.
Well, but that's
and they're gonna learn from that. They learn in the wrong way. How is the relationship between a woman and a man?
That's another thing too. Yeah.
And
develop a misconception of how it's supposed to go.
Yeah, by that time you're starting to realize that Santa Claus is not real anymore. You know what I mean?
Oh no,
no,
really?
Yeah, yeah. So I do see that in United States, and it's very cold. Like to me, I never was even though I come in from a divorced family, but I never knew this, because it was like, oh, mom and dad, they each have separate accounts, and then they have one joint account where they pull the money together. Like to me, this was a foreign concept. Well, what do you mean? Like this is family's money. What difference does it make who made what?
Because it's so easy here in the United States to sue each other. Like, we sue you for this and sue you for that, or that's all my money, this is your money. And so you have is a kind of protection. You're protecting yourself. That's it. Because it's so common to get a divorce. So you're already looking ahead that it's gonna be a divorce. It's like, why we getting married? Why we having a family? Why we want to have a kids? If you're already planning ahead to basically get a divorce, because otherwise, as you say, why do I have to do that? Why we had two different banking accounts and separate money? It doesn't make sense, right?
I think it also happens with like the scarcity mindset. And also what notice is in United States, I don't know if in Italy it's the same now or not, but in United States we've started pushing the age of marriage further and further and further because everybody's worried about getting their careers together, getting established, reaching certain pinnacle, right? And then getting married. Where back in the day you would get just kind of married young, and once you're young you just kind of grow together at this point, right? And I think when you growing together, you start molding your personalities together, and then you're a little bit closer. But then when you're older and you get married when you're older, now you kind of set in your ways. It's very difficult to sway you to go this way versus that way, right? Even though there's less compromise.
Old dog, new tricks.
Yeah, it's less compromise. And I think what happens is a lot of people will get in these relationships with a very scarcity mindset where it's like, oh, that's the only girl I can date. Like, that's the only one that talks to me. So I'm going to be with her. And the girl will be like, well, that's the best thing I could find, like, and just they get into these relationships in hopes that one is going to change, and they never do change, or they change way too much. And then you're like, you're not the same person I fell in love with, or you're not changing enough, and then it becomes this nuclear bomb that within 8 years, that's the average length of a, marriage in the United States is 8 years, just enough for children to be born. And once the children can technically be a little more on their own individual, go to school, that's when the divorces happen in the United States anyway. Now, I don't know how that can be solved.
Well,
I think it's going to just continue that way. And, United States always kind of led that everything in that type of way. I think this is going to spread to the rest of the world, but I think more traditional countries will resist a little bit longer, but it's going to get there eventually. I just don't know what's the best way about it,
Well, you're right on what you're saying, but also if you don't work on yourself, it's never gonna change.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be aware. I don't know, read a book, experience. You have to be aware that even if you grow up with some sort of parents and they forge you, right? You learn from them, and so you're making a personality that is a connection between your dad personality, your mom personality, and then you came up. But this doesn't define you. So if it's something is wrong with you and you notice it with other in the relationships, so if something happened to you, is always like, I like you said, I can have a good relationships. This bad is something is happening to me. I can't find a job, and you're always complaining.
The victim mentality.
Be aware of that. Like, change something. So if something is in you that it doesn't work, and you feel on your gut, on your on your heart that it's not good for you, it's not longer good for you, you gotta you have the power to change yourself, nobody else. So if it's something you don't like, you have to change it, but you have to put yourself in a work to be able to change it. And again, we have repetition, we have asking help, you like feeling the power, to ask help, because some people, they don't want to ask help. So if you want to change something, you have to do it. Nobody else can help you to do it, And what I noticed, especially after my accident and with all my traveling, if you are a positive soul, a positive mind, and a good person, it's always getting back to you. You always will find a way to do what your dreams are, the goals you want to achieve, and help other people and be a good person and work on yourself. It's just something that will change you forever, and it's like when you see the light, from the dark, in the dark place that you've been through, and you see the light, then you never looking back, never come back. It's always going to be better, but you need to work on yourself. It's very hard. Like, I am a positive person, I'm trying to be good, but I know I still have some issues. It's because of my parents. I exactly know. But the first step is be aware of that, and accept that. The first step is say, yes, I know I have problems. I'm working on that. And whatever times it would takes, I'm still making the mistake. Okay, I want to work again on the same mistake, and I will be different tomorrow. But if you're stuck, nothing ever will change, not on you and not around you. That's where the depression come from, because you don't want to accept your mistakes, and you're basically not loving yourself.
Yeah, you're just
So
doing
you
the
have
same
to
thing over
accept
and over again.
yourself, love yourself, and just move on. That is the, and I think it's connected with with the accident, with the amputation, and people that have my same amputation, or I met people that they don't have an arm and they're still smiling, or other people that they lost both of their limbs, whatever limbs, and they are depressed, but because they were already in a kind of states that they weren't happy with themselves and with the life. And something happened like that, they don't know what to do. They're just way more lost than
Things
before.
get even worse. Yeah.
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 No, I agree. It's a fine balance, and you do need that, and that's probably been my biggest thing. Talking about victim mentality, and a lot of times when I say this, a lot of people don't agree with it, and they're right away. Well, you're coming from a very warm place, this and that. Now I am. Before I wasn't. I could have gone that rabbit hole, but I didn't. Now I also understand not everybody can do it. And you're another example of, you could have just said, fuck it, the world is falling apart, give me the opioids, give me everything, let me swallow them to make the happy pills, let me make me. But you said, you know what, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna get up on my own. I'm gonna do on my own. I'm gonna travel, continue doing this and vlogging and doing this and that. And now, talking about that, I kind of want to segue into, how did you start? Now, you mentioned a little bit, you started recording yourself already and you started gathering a
Yeah.
bunch of people now, but you now been doubling down on this, like you've really been, you're technically an influencer at this point.
I will
inspired
try.
What inspired you to do that? Once
Myself. Yeah, because I was seeing myself so much energy and power of achieving the little things every day, and I was like, oh, okay, I can do it. Okay, I thought it was difficult, but I did. So, and then I want to show the other people, because immediately, and I swear, you guys, immediately the second days I was on the hospital, I start to receive messages from the people. Oh, how's your amputation and the prosthetic? I was like, I don't know nothing yet about the prosthetic leg and how it's going on and how it will be. That people already were texting me, because then
Everybody's
Instagram,
Googling.
the
Everybody's-
logarithm, whatever. I start to have all the connection with people with disability, any kind of disability. Ask me help, ask me like tips, suggestions, and advices, whatever. I was still like, I don't know, guys. I just got an amputation, like
What?
literally.
Now, give me 2 days. Give me 2 days. I'll figure it
What's
out. Just give me 2
something-
days.
What's something that you thought would be hard that was actually easier than you thought it would be, and what's something that what you thought would be easy but was surprisingly hard?
At the beginning, that was really hard to move, and the pain on the stump was so much. I was like, I don't know when I'm gonna be better.
Okay.
Because some other people, they stay on the hospital for months, and after 10 days I asked to the doctor that I want to go home.
Oh
10
shit!
days.
So 10 days you were
I
like,
want to
I'm
go
home.
home.
I'm
I
going.
want to go home. I couldn't stay no longer on the hospital.
Uh,
The other
that-
people are just beyond the hospital, and it was really hard for me, especially sleeping. I didn't sleep well for months.
Because it's not your bed, is that why? Or just in that
No,
position?
for the pain, for the fracture on the back, because for some reason I had the projector of the pain on my chest, so I didn't have anything on my chest, but it was because of the spine. And I couldn't sleep, I couldn't move. I like to sleep, on the side. It was so painful, and I had to wear the brace for 3 months. It was like very, very bad.
Even when you were home?
Even
already?
when I was home for months.
So now,
Yeah.
did that change your sleeping pattern now? Are you still sleeping like you were sleeping before? Or now you're sleeping like...
No, like I was sleeping before.
Okay, so
yeah,
that came back.
because finally I was like, yes, I can do this and that.
Okay, okay, so you're another person that tells me this. I feel better about myself now, okay? Because everyone always been telling me you gotta sleep on your back, and I can't sleep on
Yeah,
my
no, I
back. I
sleep
sleep
on
on
my
my
side.
belly.
Well,
You sleep on your side. You know?
well, if I'm sick on the stomach, then yeah. So you wanna say, but otherwise,
Yeah, and
I
people are
feel
like,
on
well,
my side.
you know, you need
Yeah.
to slowly start sleeping on your back so you can learn how to sleep on the back. I was like, it's fucking impossible.
I know the stomach is really
Not
bad.
all the
I
time.
know sleeping on your stomach can be pretty bad.
Well, if you have your pillow or a cushion
I got a
on,
pillow.
yeah, on no, that one, like a real one,
I got a pillow. Does this count?
it's okay. Otherwise, yes, it's still being comfortable.
They say
I
it's
know for your
bad for
back,
your
it's-
back and
yeah.
everything too, though.
But
I don't know.
yeah, and
That's
then
why probably I'm like a cinder block, you know, because all the muscles are already strong because of that stupid sleeping position.
and you know what? It was really challenging at first, and stay on the other leg because I was so weak. So I started to work out even with the resistance bands and
Yeah.
try to stand up, go up and down. And at first, I had my mom helping me, and I hate that. I hate that. Not because it's my mom. I hate that somebody has to help me
Yeah.
doing this basic stuff.
Right.
But I had to learn again the pattern of walking, the pattern of, I was, falling apart basically. Not even like standing from the chair, and
So
it
you had
was
to
so
push through a
frustrating.
lot of physical pain. You were actually like,
Yeah.
it hurts, but I'm gonna do it. It hurts, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
To the point of like tears, but you're still fucking doing it.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well,
Now,
that's what.
Basically, yes.
Was there any part of it that you thought would initially was going to be extremely hard and turned out not to be as bad?
Maybe the whole things like my situation and going back to party with
Going
my
back to
friends or
normal
the
life kind of thing?
regular life. Yes. Yeah, because I didn't know for how long I could stay in that state of pain
Okay.
and discomfort, and I didn't know when I was able to walk again and to go out. Being home all day. Fortunately, I had a small yard in my place, so I couldn't go outside and being still on my own place
Yeah.
and exercise. But otherwise, I couldn't go anywhere. Not driving a car, especially because my parents were like, "Yeah, no, you're not driving a car." And I was like, I'm in America. I need just the right foot. I don't need a left. And I was driving like with no leg, just one foot like that, and then having like a wheelchair or my crutches and get out of the car and using the crutch. Because, I mean, again, I'm active. I am strongly independent, and so it's hard for me to have other people do basic stuff. Yeah.
So I have a question for you because you're a minority of people that these situations happen to. There are a lot of people that are in a similar situation, but overall majority of people are not. What's one thing that really like just kind of like gets to you when people first meet you? It's what behavior they show, demonstrate, or things that they say that really like gets to you about your situation. Am I making sense at all or no?
Yeah, I
Like a
understand.
pet
But
peeve,
Yeah.
what?
like a pet peeve maybe of like
After
when meeting people.
after the accident,
You know
when meeting-
what? It's incredible, but nobody ever like look at me weird in a weird way or say something bad that I was offending me. No, the only comments that I have sometimes that is funny to me is like, "Are you a veteran?" Like, "Are you a veteran?" Today, yeah, actually today, a guy at the restaurant
Just tell
As-
us, get the discount.
yeah,
Give me that
That
discount,
is-
bro.
yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that for sure.
Yes, we corrupted Italian. Yes.
So today a guy was like, what happened? And you have like a diabetes? And I was like at the beach and
Diabetes?
in the top, and I with the
Look
shorts.
at-
I was like, like look at me. I was
got
like,
a six-pack.
"Do you think
What
I have
diabetes?"
diabetes? And I was like,
Oh,
oh no,
shit.
sorry. And I was like, no, I'm joking. I always make joke. I don't care, and people can make jokes with me.
Okay.
I don't get offended because I don't care. It's just the way that I am now,
Right.
and I'm the person making jokes.
Right.
And I love when other people like now that we're laughing together. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah. What I mean, again, there is nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, of course.
But
do you ever notice people like acting weird around you because they kind of feel uncomfortable? They
Or-
don't want to hurt
No,
you or
how
do
about-
the right
how
or
about
wrong
this?
they
thing?
maybe feel uncomfortable, ask you what's going on, or
Right.
helping you. I had a guy one time on the beach. I was in San Diego. Asked me, I love to help people, and I always help people. So would you accept and help, or should I ask help if you need the help? And I was like, no, we can do. I mean, no,
Yeah.
we can do everything. And I think this the same things with other amputee or people with disability. If you see them, they're doing good, they're doing their own things, and they are actually not asking help, they don't need help. Don't
feel
go
like-
and force, don't
Oh,
help
like
them.
forcefully help them.
You
yeah.
know,
Unless they
yeah,
ask you
that's
for it,
I don't
then-
like that. I don't like that either.
Oh, that actually answered my
Yeah.
question, which was, do you have any do you feel like there's any misconceptions about amputees or people with disabilities like yours that you are not fond of, which would
Well,
Yeah,
like,
they
okay.
always constantly need help.
yeah
No,
right, there
no.
you go.
At
That's a
this
fact. There you
point,
go.
I
That's
don't
the
know if you can
misconception.
even call that as a disability for her because
She still does everything.
like you literally do
I'm
have
an
stuff you can do.
adaptive.
Now, I mean, for disability, parking closer to the store and all that shit, that's great. You know what I mean?
No, that's great.
That's awesome. You know
I'm
what I mean?
100% using my disabled tag for
Yeah,
the car,
sure, for
and I'm not paying it. I can.
yeah, for
it's
sure.
free.
I would blame you if you didn't, but the whole,
Airports.
Yes.
Airports?
Yes, always.
you ever,
Always.
you ever made fun of something? Like you ever like jokingly? Yeah, yes. Tell us those stories. Yeah, I can already see things happening.
No, actually, no. But making fun of somebody else.
No, not
or
making
those-
fun
or-
of,
or
like,
the people. And they think that-
using the situation, bending the rules a little bit.
at the airport every time. Every time they ask me, because I don't want to go through the metal detector or whatever the machine, because
Of
I
course.
always, is it titanium? Nothing happened with the titanium.
Mm-hmm.
I can have an MRI, nothing happened.
Yeah.
It's fine and 100% okay for
Right.
everything. But I know that. But I'm always taking advantage of it. I don't want to go through there because it might be,
you're talking
bad
about
for my
the-
system
Yeah,
because I'm
you're talking
traveling
about the
so
way-
much.
Yeah.
And so sometimes they had to check on me because I'm not passing through the machine. So they
Right.
had to check the wheelchair and they asked me, can you just stand up for a little bit? I was like, do I have to? If I don't, no, I will stay on the chair. Thank you. I don't, everything.
That's a
And-
boss move.
Oh my
like,
gosh,
no,
I'm walking, I'm traveling.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
You
stay
know,
here for
yeah,
a little
no,
bit.
I take advantage of the service. Not advantage because
It's
when
not
the
an advantage,
when
it's
the
given to
airport
you,
is
yeah.
big and you have to walk a lot, then I can't walk a lot. And then you have the bags, and I feel it's a lot for me. So
Right.
that's not completely bullshit, but the little details, yes. Like they carry me everywhere. The last flight, they carried me until the seats.
Right.
They were like, "Do you need the other little chair? Because it's a little tiny chair that has to pass through."
Right.
And I say yes. I say yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I'm skipping the line. I can go the airport at the last minute. They they
Yeah.
take care of me
So you got like a clear pass, just
at the airport.
She doesn't
Every
have to pay for pre-check.
Yeah, she don't no pre-check,
We
none
have
of
to
that
pay,
stuff.
and
That's awesome,
the
dude.
most
That's awesome.
important things, I can have actually until 3 carry-on bags because I'm
Oh, shit.
disabled and I need a lot of equipment with me.
Right.
And I have like all the kind of tools. They can't say anything. They can't say anything.
Nice.
No kidding. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Shit. So out of this whole thing, right?
I hope that nobody of the
It doesn't
air
matter.
hostess or airport
It doesn't
people
matter.
I don't think we
are
have
watching and
any
listening right now.
PSA.
I'm so sorry.
No, even if they're listening, you are
I'm
you
still
have a
disabled.
disability. Like you just bird everyone and whatever. What are they gonna say? What are they gonna say?
Oh, they
It's
can
not,
know-
like, it's not like you're the little kid in these countries that walks around with his arm behind his back. Like, oh, this. No, you actually,
Yes.
you have the right
Yeah.
to use
Can
those
you
things.
imagine? Can you imagine like the social media uproar people would get if something like that happened and somebody said some shit to you? Oh my god, that company would be canceled tomorrow. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah, but I won't even.
It's getting a little late, Jason. We gotta wrap up, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
Sure.
one last question.
Yes.
You go ahead.
So on your Instagram, I saw that after your accident, you recently rode a motorcycle
Oh, I
again.
have a question too.
Oh,
And I know you posted on there like that you learned how to ride it again. So I'm guessing that was physically that you had to learn, but was there like any mental like trauma with it? Like, was it difficult getting onto the bike and riding it like mentally because of the accident?
I was so excited to do it.
Oh, you were ready to get back on.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
And this company is a non-profit organization. It's actually called Ride Again. And they invited me over. I got a sponsor and everything. So, and finally I ride again. Yeah. And
Wow.
it was so much fun. Challenges because, you know, you have all this equipment and the foot, you don't have a sensation. You can't keep the foot on the pedal.
Right.
Like you're riding and the foot is like, whoop, and you can't figure it out. You don't feel it. You don't know. Unless you're doing a lot of repetition. I mean, you're using the bike. That was my first time after a year. So we tried to wrap it up my foot on the pedal. We tried everything. We tried everything.
You get one of those the horse ones, you know, when you just
Yeah, it's crazy. And then I used to ride back horses, so I just kept my legs very strong on the bike, like on the horse. And I rode like on the track for my first time ever. It was so much fun. I felt freedom and I felt like alive, and especially that I could do it again. And also learn back again the new way to ride, because the last one is where you shift.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask about. How did they set the bike up to where you can shift?
Yeah, well, they have all modified the bike, but you have two options. One is automatic, and it's it's boring. You know?
Got you. Yeah.
The other one, on the left hand, you have the clutch, but you also have the shifting. It's coupled bottom, so up is up and down is down.
Got it.
It's super easy, easy. But also you need to learn it again, because you basically have to do a couple movements.
You've gotten used to only hitting the clutch, right?
Yeah.
Versus now doing it with your thumb as well.
Yeah.
I wonder whether you would be really good at mountain biking. Because the mountain bike, everything is here, right? You got your brakes front and back, and then you have your gears going up and down on this. So you're constantly going up and down.
Yeah,
with
but
the
I had to pedal.
Yeah. So?
I'm just joking.
Yes. Oh, shit.
No, I'm
You
joking.
don't-
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the problem is always the foot. Even on the bike, but the bicycle, whatever, is going somewhere at some point, or
That's
you're
so
losing the
sick.
leg at some point, because you start to sweat so much.
Right.
And it might be,
So then you would
off.
you're probably going to need
So
some
you need
clip-ons or
a
something.
totally different equipment to ride the bike, the bicycle or the motorcycle.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
You know, some people, they make their own socket, because especially on the sport bike, you know, the angle of your knee is very tight like that.
Right.
And it starts to be painful, like you have like a knife into your knee joint.
Shit,
Right.
So the socket has to be a little bit lower, so you are able to move your knee, and you know, the joints are more free to move. And the position of the pedal, the problem that I had with those bike, for me, the pedal was too high. So if I was losing the foot, then reaching the pedal again was and the riding is you're speeding, right? It's much more difficult. So you need to set up your own bike and customize that, because otherwise it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have one more question. Now, you're definitely like a straight up influencer at this point. You're influencing lives. What advice would you give to the influencers that are trying to start, and what do you think they should concentrate on first, second, and third? 3 things, not more. Like, if you were to say, or if you were to go back, what would you do differently than you doing now? Like, so when you started, what would be the couple of things you would suggest?
First and most important for me, be yourself. Like, literally be yourself, natural, and be acknowledged of what you're teaching, because if you're teaching something wrong or you're saying in a wrong way, you're gonna hurt a lot of people. So do it in the right way. Do it with God with you, you know, with faith and with love, and really with supporting somebody else, to help somebody else. And obviously you have to make money of that, but in the same times, not be always on the social media, because you're gonna burn out your brain. And having your own ideas is the best way. Sometimes, and I'm doing that too, like scrolling and watching other people doing the videos, how they're editing. No, it's better to have our own ideas, be ourselves, and create. Sometimes we can't create new things anymore. We're always doing the same things, you know, like social media is like using the same popular song. Why I shouldn't use another song for my video? And doing like, step by step, try, but I'm talking about a fitness perspective, because this is what I am. So always try on your own, like on your own body, practice, learn, study, read, and then you can do a video and explain what you're doing and why are you doing and to who can be helpful, this and that.
Awesome.
So
It's a great question, Jay. Very good.
Perfect.
Wrap it up?
Close out? Yeah, that's fine.
Alrighty. Thank you, Francesca,
Guys,
for
Thank
coming
you.
in.
It was
having
such
me
a good
here.
We really
conversation.
appreciate
We
it.
didn't even have time to stop and say like, subscribe. Couple of words for our sponsors, UFC,
Jim Largo and Pinellas Park
And
and
then
the
Takeover.
Vitality Wellness Center. And thank you everyone who came in the chat. Thank you again to Francesca for
Thank you.
joining us. We really appreciate your story. It's a great story, by the way.
and thanks
Very,
for
very
agreeing to come in.
inspirational.
It couldn't have been. It's the best, one of the best podcasts we've had for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Appreciate it.
Bye,
Peace.
guys. Bye.